Hello, it's Monica Dubé with Heal Your Mind, Heal Your Life Transformation Program. And right now I'm doing lesson 15 from A Course in Miracles. And the reason I'm doing it is because it's one of the most important lessons of the Course. My thoughts are images that I have made. I really believe that if you really understand and can accept this lesson for yourself, this could change everything for you. You could set yourself free, recognizing that everything you see is an image that's going on in your mind, and that you truly are in this state of image making all the time. What I mean by that is we think we see a world outside of us with objects and people and everything that seems to be separate from us. But in fact, there is only you doing that and receiving a reflection of your mind in this space and time. And it might seem really preposterous that that's true, but, you're perceiving with these eyes, right? And these eyes can't see, they can only see in one dimension, which is your third dimension. And so that can't be all that's happening here, since we're in a multidimensional universe. And so this idea is that my thoughts that I think are appearing to me as images, and I don't recognize them as nothing. I think they're really significant. And the reason that we always feel so separate is that everything appears to be separate from us, right? My body seems separate from the chair, from the lamp, from another person, from a table, from roses. It seems that my body's separate from that, but the fact is that all of it is made from the energy of light and love, because it's created by God, all right? But we don't know that, we don't feel that, and we don't experience it until we question our own belief and our own perception or misperception. And so the exciting part about the Course at this stage is to recognize, even if you can't sort of intellectually understand it, which is not required at all, by the way. Don't try to figure it out, in other words, because you never will, because your intellect can't figure this out. Your intellect's based on, perception, what you're seeing here. And it's working really well for you, but it's not the whole picture. There's a much bigger picture going on. There's a much greater frequency or higher frequency in other dimensions that are right here with you. And I really want you to know that it isn't hard to do this at all. It might seem impossible when you first get into the Course and the lessons, because they're so different and they really change the way you think. But you need that, because if you're suffering in any way, or you believe that you have to be afraid of what's going on in your life, or what isn't going on in your life, or what you think you want and you can't have that, then you're in an illusion. Okay. So you've given this function to your body's eyes. You're telling everything that you see what it is. You're assigning it meaning. You're assigning it a definition and naming everything. Like the animals are all named, all these species of birds, we have names for them all. They don't know what their names are, do they? They're just being birds, like they're being themselves. And only human beings do that. Animals don't do that. They don't define themselves. And I think the only reason that humans do that is because we really feel that we have to in order to understand what's going on. So I'm questioning all of that. And this lesson questions it. My thoughts are images I have made. And if you can see that you're making up the world that you see and perceiving it the way you're perceiving it because of your own conditioning and your own lack of understanding or lack of true perception, then there's a way out, okay? Because at some point that gets to be really painful when you feel and you experience yourself as separate. And for me, it became really acute when I was 30 years old, and I got so depressed and felt like I was such a fraud, and I was trying to fit into the world. I was working in banks and insurance companies, and I'm an artist and musician, so it was very conflictual for me to try to fit into an objective world of, where the goals of that world were not my own goals, and I had to learn how to shift my own thinking in order to be happy. And it worked. I mean, A Course in Miracles saved me completely from my dream. And so that's why I'm offering it. You may not understand it. You don't have to. Okay? Just really get that. Because the ego mind can't really understand this at all. This is another thought system that is completely antithetical to the ego thought system, because the ego thought system is based on fear and separation. And this thought system, which is the benevolent thought system of the creative source of the universe, is based in love. And those two worlds, they don't meet. They just don't meet, ever. So you can't reconcile the fear, you can't reconcile any of it. You have to choose one or the other. And that's a constant process of choosing. And so it says that you're going to begin to understand this when you start to see little images of light around everything. And isn't that great? You can see light around something, and suddenly you realize, oh, there's something behind it, or there's something more to this than I can see with these eyes. And then sometimes, for me, I don't have that kind of vision, but I can feel it. I can always feel the shift in the energy when I feel fear, and then I release it, and I feel love come in and replace it with my own, with the truth, right? So that process of releasing fear and coming into the truth of who you are is what I'm all about. It's what my program is all about. And it's what I'm offering every single day. So if you're interested in that, then let's do the lesson. It's this blank is an image which I have made. This lamp is an image I have made. This computer is an image I have made. This phone is an image I've made. This body outside of me is an image I've made. Okay? That's all you have to do. That's the lesson. And when you do it, it might seem really silly and frivolous and crazy, but it shifts your perception, and it opens a door to another perception that is beginning to dawn on you. It's beginning to come into your own mind and free you from this whole nightmare of separation. You don't belong there. It's really actually already over and gone, but you don't know that because you're clinging to it, and you're thinking that it's part of you and that you have to make sense of it and that it's true, and you've made up lots of stories and beliefs that go along with it, and including, victimization, ideas of victimization, like I'm a victim of this world I see. Really? That's really sad. That's a terrible thought, but a lot of us feel that. Until we don't, until we've had enough of it. And what happened with me was I recognized that I had to shift my beliefs in order to change my mind, in order to have a life of prosperity and happiness and freedom, which comes as I continually give myself in service and in love to those who want what I've got, okay, who want what I have to offer. Just like any teacher, if you think you already know, you're not going to be teachable. But if you think you don't know and you need help, then the light can get in. Okay? And sometimes we don't even know what we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. So just admit that. I don't know what I don't know. Maybe the unknown, right, in terms of these eyes that can only see third dimension, and there's a big unknown around that, Well, in spite of your third dimensional eyes, there is a bigger picture going on, and it's called creation. And it has no end, and it's eternal, and it's infinite, and you're a part of it. So don't you want to be a part of that and learn how to create again? Instead of being in reaction to everything, you're going to be proactive and create what you desire, create what you really want to experience, which has got to give you more happiness than separation. I mean, it's kind of obvious. All right, so you may not be able to understand it, but you're preparing the way to your own illumination right now by doing this lesson. And then when you start to open your eyes, right, don't be afraid of the light experiences you're going to start to have, because love and light go with you wherever you go. Those are the lessons that are coming up. The beautiful lessons about God's love goes with me wherever I go. And that is a fact, because that's what you are. And I love knowing that as I speak about this, I'm experiencing it, because I'm declaring that it's true. And when you declare that it's true for you, guess what happens? It is. So life is like this. Life is always about freeing your mind from what you thought was true and all the machinations of egoic thinking to the truth of who you really are, which is the truth of what we all are. We are the light and the love of God. We have to be. There's nothing separate from God. That's complete delusion. All right, so the next couple lessons coming up are 16 and 17. It's all about noticing that your thoughts can't be neutral, right? You can't be neutral because you're giving it meaning. So you're either saying this thought is a good thought or a bad thought. But it's not neutral, because my mind is all powerful and it's seeing it in the way that I'm choosing to see it. That's the power of your mind. But that's for tomorrow. So next time I will be doing those two lessons. If you have any questions or comments, please just put it in the comments field. And I would love to answer that at any time. I'm really glad you're with me. Thank you so much. And I'll see you soon.